Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Apocalyptic Gardening. It is June 23rd, 2020, and as you can see behind me, my underground garden is out of control. I'm so grateful. Things are growing really well, and so today I'm gonna give you a tour of the underground greenhouse, show you how things are going down here, and we're gonna talk about the shade cloth, which you can see above me, how that's been working. And then we'll go out to the garden and I'll show you kind of what's happening out there so you can compare the underground greenhouse to the garden outside. So let's get going. Okay, so first things first, you can see we've got the plants. They're growing out of control. I have trimmed them multiple times to keep things a little smaller. The strawberry tower that you see right here is not working. So not a big fan of that. Probably wouldn't do that again. And then if you look close here at the tomato plant, this is our large tomatoes. You can see some little tomatoes growing in there. And then the cherry tomato plant is also producing some tomatoes over here. We'll go look at that later. And then if you look over here, you can see a spaghetti squash that's growing nice and big. And then just right down here at the bottom, whoops, my finger's really big now, right there. You can see some little cucumbers growing. Okay, so if you look behind me here, this is the spaghetti squash plant that's running along the floor and up into the garden bed there. One of my biggest frustrations with a lot of the plants in here is that they hadn't been producing. So I was talking with my mom, I'm not Australian actually, my mom, and she said, hey, you need to get in there with a little paintbrush. So I got this tiny little paintbrush like this and start cross-pollinating. So I've gone in with this paintbrush and I started to take the pollen out of one flower and mix it into the flowers that need it. And guess what? I'm gonna flip the camera around and show you because it looks like it's working. Okay, so looking at the spaghetti squash plant here, you can see this nice flower right here. And if you zoom inside there, you can see the pollen in there. I'll take this paintbrush here and I'll take the pollen out from this flower and I'll move it over to another flower that needs the pollen. And if you look on the end of the paintbrush here, you can see it's got pollen all over it and it has been working. So you can see here, the spaghetti squash here, it's growing. And then this one here, it's almost the exact same size. You can see they're growing nicely. Got another one appearing here. So apparently that's been working. Come to the zucchini plant here and you can see we've got zucchinis growing down under here. I've got another spaghetti squash growing right here. That's a little bit bigger one. And then if we come over here, you're gonna see we've got some nice cucumbers growing here, and those guys are almost ready, and I've got 4 of them. So that's kind of exciting. And then of course, you see the giant spaghetti squash back there. That's my best one so far. And then if you look here, you can see we've got some little cherry tomatoes starting to grow, and we've got a couple of them growing on this tomato plant. But guess what, everybody? It's not just about vegetable plants. I have also got some citrus trees like you see behind me. So I'm gonna show you what's happening with the citrus trees. Okay, so if you look here, you see our lime tree, our crooked little lime tree that we love so much. It is not producing limes, but it's growing and it's filling out really nicely. You look over here at the lemon tree, same thing, it's not producing. It's growing nice and tall for us though, so that's good. And then we come to our little orange tree, which has also continued to fill out nicely. And we've got some interesting things happening here. We've got some little oranges growing. If you look right here, next to my finger, right? So I got some tiny little oranges, but what's exciting is we also have flowers growing on here, which means we could get even more oranges. But this tree has probably 6 or 7 little oranges like you see here growing on it. And then we move over to the grapefruit tree, and this is really exciting. If you look here, you can see we've basically got some baseball-sized grapefruits growing here, and I am extremely hopeful that this tree will give us some really nice grapefruits this year. You can see one more clear down here. So we've got about 10 or 12 grapefruits growing on that tree. Then if you move to this orange tree here, this is my favorite orange tree. You can see we've got oranges growing on it. Same thing, this tree probably has, 10 or 12 oranges growing on it. And we have little blooms growing as well. You can see a little bloom there, a little one there, and up by these oranges we were just looking at, you can see there's another bloom right there. So this orange tree here is looking good for us as well. A couple more oranges right there. Okay, so I want to talk about the shade cloth above us and what that's doing. As you know, in the past years, I've really fought with the heat in the greenhouse. Usually June, July, August, it can get 110, 115 degrees in here. I can't even remember. It might even hit 120 degrees in this greenhouse, which just makes it almost impossible to grow anything. Even citrus trees who love the heat struggle with that type of heat. So I purchased this shade cloth and installed it a couple weeks ago. And what we are seeing is temperatures dropping about 20 degrees, maybe up to 25 degrees. So yesterday in the heat of the day, it was only like 80 degrees in here. So the shade cloth is working. I have the attic fan over there working. And of course, behind me here, I leave this door open so we can get the wind blowing all the way through. So that shade cloth has been amazing. So I'd highly recommend it. Okay, so now you know that everything inside the greenhouse is going awesome. Not perfect, but good. Now we're gonna step out to the garden and show you that. Okay, before we look at the garden, I just wanna show you this beautiful brick trail that I put in. You'll notice it is covered in weeds. We have fought these weeds year after year after year, and I'm sick of it. Okay, before we look at the garden, I just wanna show you this beautiful brick trail behind me. You can see it is covered in weeds, and we have fought with these weeds year after year. And tell you what, I am sick of it. So we are actually going to cement in this whole area, and we're out here removing all these bricks. And I just can't take it any longer, because you can't put poison around your garden. So the bricks didn't work. So I'm not sure if that's something I can recommend, but let's flip the camera around and show you how the garden's doing so far. Okay, so let's start with the rhubarb. As you can see here, it's completely out of control. It's huge. When I made my last video 2 weeks ago, it was ready to be harvested and I didn't do it then. So it's definitely ready for that. You can see here my walking onions, they are getting huge. And if you notice up here, you got these little bulbs here. These will actually fall over. You see one actually falling over right here. And when they touch the soil, roots will start going out of those and a new plant will grow. So these onion plants can spread really fast, and that plant is doing amazing, okay? You notice here as well, you got the carrots. Those are doing amazing, and we got more carrots over here. So the carrots are doing great. And then if I flip the camera around, you can see the lettuce is out of control. Matter of fact, it is time to start eating that. And matter of fact, look at this spinach. Is that spinach leaf just monstrous? So time to eat the spinach too. The peas have been doing awesome, and we've been eating a lot of peas. And you can see right here, a nice one growing there. Accidentally just picked it. That means it's ready. As it gets warmer, obviously the peas will no longer be working for us. You can see the 2 tomato plants here, quite a bit smaller than the tomato plants that we see inside the greenhouse. But let's look at this here. Got some peas growing on this one as well, you can see. And then there's the cherry tomato plant there. So these tomato plants, they're doing good. I got a zucchini plant growing there. But as you can see, they do not compare at all to what's growing inside the greenhouse. So let's go check out the other section. Okay, so once again here, you can see the plants do not even compare to what's happening inside the greenhouse. Got the cauliflower there. And then the one plant that seems to be doing really good, as you can see, I've got 2 pumpkin plants right here side by side. And these guys are actually growing, I mean, significantly each day. So if we peek inside here, you can see they've got the little flowers growing in here. And somewhere in here, we've got a pumpkin growing. Oh yeah, see, right there, we got a little pumpkin growing. Okay, and since I killed all my strawberries, you can see here, I just took several plants I had remaining in the greenhouse and just planted them in here. And hopefully these guys thrive in this location. Next year, I'll put strawberries back in here again. Well, I was gonna end this video with eating a bunch of peas, but the kids were out here yesterday and apparently they ate almost all of them. But I did find one here. See that? Nice juicy little pea. Anyways, if you found this informational or educational or just enjoyable, please give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more great videos on gardening. That is some good stuff, I'm telling you. You gotta grow your own peas. They're way better than they are in the store. Anyways, hopefully see you next time. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and we'll see you next time.